Hello there, many thanks for joining us on our Thursday Business News Report. It's now time to bring you our feature on the show today as we continue to look at matters arising looking at the lingering fuel scarcity. Now, more and more reactions continue to trail the lingering fuel scarcity and the management of the circulation of adulterated petrol. 1 week after detection of bad petrol in some states of the Federation, evacuation is yet to be completed due to mainly huge volume of the product, logistics challenges, and also the cost to be borne in the process of moving it from depots and filling stations to designated points. Now, this has narrowed the possibility of resolving the scarcity on time as fresh products to close supply gap runs into storage facilities hitches. This means that the current petrol shortage would also linger for a while as government and other stakeholders continue to work towards resolving all the issues associated with the scarcity of fuel at filling stations. Now, reacting to the importation of about 100 million litres of bad petrol, the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority noted that evacuation of the product has commenced, adding that it has also about 20 days sufficient volume to meet demand. The Nmdpra'S thus advises Nigerians against panic buying as about 300 million litres of petrol has already been discharged at the Apapa jetty. According to the authority as well, before the close of this week, the off-specification product will be cleared. Well, join me now live in our Lagos studio to discuss this and much more. I have Adeola Yusuf, Team Lead Platforms Africa. Thank you very much for joining us on the show today.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Now, looking at the reactions we've had so far, this is 1 week down the line. However, it seems like we had a rush of information between Tuesday and Wednesday, the last 48 hours, looking at what might be some of the likely causes of this source of adulterated petrol and then how it's going to be attended to. But we didn't get the best of communication, which was one of the issues Nigerians raised from the Nmdpra'S. Details are sketchy. There was silence for a while. How important would you say it is to keep the channels open, keep Nigerians informed and also guided so that we can also limit exploitative tendencies, not giving room for all of these speculations that have already come to be in the last few hours and days?
Okay, anytime we have issues like this, what usually compound the issue is panic. And most times what we usually get from the hand of the government is to blame people for panic buying. But you can't heap all the blame on the people. Actually, they do not have information as to what is happening. And that is why information is very, very critical and very, very key. You observe that even before now that we are having that rush of information, there was that, silence that is very, very uncomfortable. And that has, made a lot of Nigerians. Okay, we are in a social media world now. Even before the federal government, the agency of government came out to confirm, Nigerians are already sharing that on social media. You see video of,
the fuel box.
And a lot of people have already started sharing experience of how that has been knocking their engines and all that. So it became, but I'm very unfortunate that, the agency Nmdpra'S is just coming out to, and we have to be very, very sincere. What is out there is just half-truth. Half-truth in the sense that they confirm that, some contractors, have imported adulterated fuel into the country with high volume of methanol. What we've had engineers, told us is that methanol, anytime it mixes with water, it creates, it turns into another chemical that will knock off any engine, except that engine is very, very strong. And even if the engine is not knocked immediately, it will have a very, very terrible effect on that engine. So it's not good that we don't have that information on time, and that now that we are having that information, we are not having the full information. The full information will help even the government. Let me quickly paint a scenario as to what we usually have. Every day, Nigeria allocates 445,000 barrels of crude oil, to local refineries. The unfortunate situation we have is that those 4 refineries, 2 in Port Harcourt, 1 in Warri, and 1 in Kaduna, they are not working. So the government will need to, still keep those products refined. So the arrangement they are having now is that, even before now, is to have what they call direct sale, direct purchase agreement, otherwise known as crude swap. what that means is that government, took out a bid for that, and people bidded for it. And we have different contractors that won, different volumes of this product. So they will now take that out, that raw crude out to refiners abroad, and bring in the same quantity of that in petroleum, in refined product into the country. So that's why they call it crude swap. It's one of these people that have now imported this, and brought us to this very unfortunate. And I don't know why government will want to, keep mum on who
That's one of the biggest questions Nigerians are asking. This is yet unanswered. We don't have any clue whatsoever. You earlier listened to the sound on tape, the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Nmdpra'S, saying that while investigations are ongoing, no information about the details of who are the likely culprits of importing this bad petrol. But we still have to ask that question. What plays out, especially within the realm of oversight function, even if such volume made its way into the shores of the country, how did it now get distributed across before we now started having complaints? So that area of oversight function is one of the biggest areas that we also have to look at as well. The Nmdpra'S. We had the DPR and other agencies scrapped up to have the Nmdpra'S now. How does this bring to question the efficiency of this body, especially nipping in the bud elements like this?
Okay, I call this baptism of fire for Nmdpra'S. This is the first time that agency, new agency, although with old hands, will be experiencing this. And I have to be very sincere, there's a lot of lessons for them to learn in this. To talk about, if you blame, I think everyone on that entire value chain, have to share responsibilities. So this is not a time that people will start saying that, okay, is this other one, is this other one? I had the minister. Is the minister in charge of this industry? And this is an industry in crisis. So he has given that responsibility to some people. But what the impression a lot of people will have about his answer to, will be that maybe he's trying to cover up some people.
Are you optimistic?
And I know that he may not be doing that, but most times when something like this happened, a lot of fuel attendants, what of even marketers that are aware that the product they kept still selling it.
Yes.
Well, I will shock you that up to now, that effort to mop up this fuel from circulation is still ongoing. There are some marketers that are still selling this because of the intention to profiteer. So it's lack of patriotism on the part of everyone on that value chain.
Okay, Mr. Yusuf, let's also look at the forecast. By the end of this week, we're expecting the off-specification product will be cleared, according to some reports we had yesterday from the Nmdpra'S. Are you optimistic we'll be able to achieve that?
Okay, so what happened is that I have to say the truth that I know. It's a cycle, and it has to complete before we see this. What I would tell Nigerians is that there's no need to panic buy. This is a situation we have at hand. It's not that
until this volume is cleared, we cannot have the fresh intake.
No. We have fresh intake as well. We should understand that the distribution is not to all filling stations. That's why you can still see products in some filling stations. And as we are speaking now, they are still loading. But one thing about that is that immediately they are trucking out some volume. They must immediately stock other volume. So if there is what they call dislocation, because in that time, the term they use is dislocation. This has caused dislocation, but it's a cycle that has to complete. So until that cycle completes, that is when we are going to have fuel in all filling stations. But it doesn't mean that we will not keep having fuel in other stations. So there's no need for Nigerians to panic back.
Are these developments enough of a wake-up call for government to open its eyes and see the need for us to have working refineries? We just have less than 30 seconds to wrap up.
In fact, this is an eye-opener, and the government should catch in on this to get support for fuel deregulation. For petrol deregulation. This is a time the government should take it seriously, because this we never envisage. Part of what this government has been telling Nigerians is that we never experience fuel scarcity or fuel issues during the tenure. But it's very unfortunate that now that this has spoiled that history. So they should wake up and make sure that we get Nigerian refineries working.
The clock is ticking, and we'll keep our eyes focused on how things will play out in the coming days. Thank you very much for your time on the Breakfast Show this morning, Adeola Yusuf.
My pleasure.
And I will definitely have this conversation one more time after all of this dust is settled.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.